Morning, everybody. It's the last day of school and I can't hardly believe it. I wish I read it in the way it did, but if I were going to do virtual learning with anybody, it would have been you guys, second graders. You guys did an amazing job. It was so impressive. I can't tell you how impressed I am with how well you guys handled such a hard thing. I don't know if you guys know how hard it actually was. We do have this book. It's called Last Day Blues. I thought it would be fitting for our last day of school. Okay, let's see if we can get through it. You'll notice, so in my class at least, we read a book called First Day Jitters, and this is by the same author. On the Monday morning before the Friday, that was the last day of school, Mrs. Hartwell took attendance. She sighed as she called out the last name. "I'm going to miss all of you," she said. I feel the same way. The kids nodded in agreement. "I'm going to miss my friends," said Shannon. "I'm going to miss Daisy," said Dan. "I'm going to miss chocolate milk and pizza for lunch," said Joe. Everyone felt a little blue thinking about the last day of school. Even Daisy. That afternoon, during recess, the students talked as they hung out on the jungle gym. "Mrs. Hartwell said she's going to miss us," said Alexandra, swinging from a bar. "We should get a present to cheer her up," said Eddie, hanging upside down by his knees. But what could they get her? "I could give her the rest of my sandwich if it's my mom's bologna special," said Josh. "Or a coffee cup, or a new pin, the kind with feathers and beads." The students thought and thought, but couldn't come up with one single idea that they all agreed on. "We'll think of something tomorrow," Eddie assured everyone as they lined up at the drinking fountain. On the Tuesday before the Friday that was the last day of school, Mrs. Hartwell read the final page of their last read-aloud book. "I'm going to miss circle time," said Miss Hartwell. "I'm going to miss science," said Emily. "I'm going to miss seeing Mrs. Hartwell wear her safety goggles during science," said Jack, giggling. And so, before they got too sad, Mrs. Hartwell put on her safety goggles one last time, just for fun. We definitely need to cheer Mrs. Hartwell up, said Andy during recess as he jumped out of a swing. "Any ideas about a present?" Eddie asked. "Nope," they all answered back. On the Wednesday, before the Friday that was the last day of school, Mrs. Hartwell brought in her super-duper sugar cookies with extra frosting. "I'm going to miss snack time, but I can't wait for barbecues by the pool," said Jack. "I'm going to miss recess, but I can't wait to play hide-and-seek outside after dinner," said Alexandra. "I'll miss school, but I can't wait for summer vacation," said Josh. The class discussed their summer plans and drowned their last day blues with another round of milk and sugar cookies. Going fishing, going to the beach, going to Egypt. That's cool. "I don't know whether to be happy or sad today," Andy said the minute they all arrived at the jungle gym. "Mrs. Hartwell is sad," said Olivia. "She probably doesn't want the year to end." "While we're swimming, she'll be reading her old lesson plan," said Walker. "And while we're playing, she'll be trying to remember the fun times we had this year," said Dan. I know exactly how Mrs. Hartwell is feeling right now. And that's when an idea zipped, zapped, and zinged into Eddie's brain. I know exactly what will cheer her up," Eddie said, jumping down from the jungle gym. The class agreed. It was perfect. On the Thursday before the Friday that was the last day of school, Eddie raised his hand right after Mrs. Hartwell started language arts. "We need some privacy, please," he said. And so Mrs. Hartwell took down bulletin boards with her back to the class. She never even peeked. Well, only once. On the morning of the Friday that was the last day of school, the students dashed into the classroom. They snapped open the shades for the very last time. They did their chores for the very last time. They fed Daisy for the very last time. And as soon as the bell rang, they couldn't wait for Mrs. Hartwell to see her present for the very first time. The last day of school makes us so blue. Looks like a letter. We'll miss recess and pizza and reading too. We'll miss Daisy and cookies and friendships true. Snack time and science and learning new. We'll miss spelling bees for our test review and groundhogs that play peekaboo. The year's been great, a big wahoo! There are many things to miss, it's true, but mostly what we'll miss is you. Later on, during recess, Eddie said, I think Miss Hartwell liked her present. I just hope it helps, Margaret said. Poor Miss Hartwell, they all said sadly as they pictured their final goodbye. Teachers must hate the last day of school. That's how I always feel on the last day of school. Pretty sad. And then it was time. The bell rang. Goodbye, the students called as they rushed out the door. Goodbye, Miss Hartwell called after them. Whew. And then she returned to her empty classroom. Just you and me, Daisy, she said. I'm sure going to miss them this summer. But I can't wait for vacation. And that's what she's planning to do all vacation. Feel the same way, guys. Really gonna miss you. Gonna miss this year. Come see us when you're checking in your stuff today. Make sure you do not check in your stuff without seeing me. Promise? Same thing for Miss Strampy. You have to promise. Don't check in your stuff without seeing us. Wait for us to come down if we're doing something. Alright. See you guys soon.